celebrating this momentous occasion. Momentous, is that the right word? Here are a couple of the highlights that came from that year. Not in any of them. Here are a few. Please note, not all of these are in a specific order. Please note, these are not in a specific order. Right. Through January. The third Doctor story, The Mind of Evil, previously only released in black. But the black and white tapes survived, as did a couple of other of his stories were also missing for a short while, but eventually a couple of his stories were also believed to be missing for a couple of his stories also did go missing for a bit, but all third Doctor stories have eventually been. A couple of his episodes were also missing for a bit, but they all turned up and but they are now all in the. But all his stories have been in the archives for quite a few decades. It's mainly the first and second Doctors who have lost stories and episodes that are still being tracked down even to this day. However, with the episodes that were only available in black and white, in this case, The Mind of Evil was the last episode as their third Doctor story, and served as the third Doctor story screens that year. The Robots of Death was the fourth Doctor. July screening was Remembrance for the July. However, we can finally say, as of October 2013, the Doctor Who television movie has finally been. More on those later. Each one centering on the first 11 Doctors, each one centering on the 11 Doctors of the time from the first Doctor. And they were and for 5 weeks, 2 documentaries broadcast each weekend, with the last one airing on a 6th week. And these were broadcast over 5 weeks, which was the weekend just before the 60th anniversary. The stories that accompanied the documentaries were spearhead from the third Doctor, and they did the same for the 10th Doctor, which I'll get onto in a second. But in the UK they broadcast Science in the Library. But in the UK they broadcast Science in the Library and Forest of the Dead. And they did the same for the 10th Doctor, where in America they broadcast The Stolen Earth and Journey's End. Stop getting phlegmy throat! The 8th Doctor's were, of course, the 8th Doctor's was also the TV more. Another funny thing, yet in the UK it was actually broadcast the exact week before especially as they were only starting to be broadcast in, never mind, actually. The Tomb of the Cybermen. The Tomb of the Cybermen is the most notable. The Tomb of the Cybermen and Bad Wolf. I'm not sure why, unless it was to avoid clashing with the BBS. Then there are plenty of other stories in those eras that you could screen, especially, and there are other stories from those two eras, and there are other stories from those eras that you could show instead. Actually, I'll cut that last bit. Fucking the Doctor Who Classic Series DVD and the final stories that did not require animated episodes, and the majority. and many of which were released in 2013. The Ice Warrior and the 10th Planet. So, as many Third Doctor stories had many missing, plus possibly a booklet of it. Terror, the Time. And in October, the two missing story. The Web of Fear was released on DVD in February 2014. Behind the Enemy of the Web of Fear and the Moonbase, which also had its episode. The Enemy of the and the in 2015. 2013 Sword, A Spearhead from Space was mostly filmed, so this story was easily transferred to Blu-ray HD. These were special edition, apart from Sharda, the animated edition. These were the last 5 special edition DVDs of the classic series range, apart from The Enemy of the World in 2018, which was a special edition apart from the Enemy of the World in 2018, although it's said to be. We also have the power. The Enemy of the World and the Power of the Daleks have also since received special edition DVD releases. The Enemy of the World and the Power of the Daleks have also received DVD and Blu-ray. The Enemy of the World and the Power of the Daleks have also received DVD special editions as well since 2013. The Peter Cushing Dalek TV, and they also received Blu-ray and they will also receive for Dalek Invasion of Earth, though this may only be in the United States. Revised series store in North America. The Stone, as opposed to being included in that release in the An Adventure in Space and Time was also released on DVD, and in Blu-ray. An Adventure in Space and Time was also released on DVD, but did not receive a Blu-ray copy in Europe or America, but only received a Blu-ray copy in North. However, it did not receive a Blu-ray copy outside of North America, which, however, this will be the minisodes, and many of the 50th anniversary programs shown around the time, plus other extras from, and of course the 5-ish Doctors reboot. But there was 2 months later, on the 4th of August 2004, 2 months later on the 4th of August, Zoe Ball hosted a Doctor Who Live, the 12th. No. 2 months later on the 4th of August on BBC One. 2 months later on the 4th, hosted by Zoe Ball, it introduced Peter Capaldi as from the 30th of March to 18th of May 2000. Before we get to the stories actually broadcast in 2013, two last little bits meant. July saw the 3rd Doctor Who at the Proms air. The third Doctor Who at the Proms aired in July. Yeah. And this particular Proms saw music from across the 50-year run of the programme. These proms presented music from across the 50-year run of the programme and these proms featured music from the 50 years of the show. And these proms featured music from across the 50 years of the show. The 50 years. Which showed off part of the history of the show as well. Onto the television stories from 2013, from the 30th of March to the 8th. Onto the actual television stories from the era. No. And the time of the Doctor's air. And filming for the time of the Doctor, the stories were. Several minisodes were also. Including 2 prologue episodes, including a prologue episode to the Bells of St. John, including a prologue episode to the Bells of St. John, the first episode of Series 7 Part 2 and the 6th overall, and a prologue episode to the finale, The Name of the Doctor, and a prequel episode that was released afterwards to the same episode, as well as many Strack field reports leading up to the 3 Doctor stories, as well as Strack's field reports, which saw Strack's reporting, as well as Strack's field reports leading up to the 3 stories in the Doctor trilogy. And this is also starting off with, is that her name? And Brian Cox as the document, with Waris Hussein directing the first 4 episodes, especially after the departure, especially for the day before, also on shown a day before an adventure in space and time conducted. Also shown on BBC Two was a special of the BBC's Culture Show. Also shown on BBC Two was a special episode of and a special CBBC program, 12 Again, this program looked at the wider cultural impact that the show has on the fucking friend. This special program looked and CBBC or BBC had quite. BBC Three did. Can't remember off the top of my head. Number 10 was the Jadoon, number 9 was the Silurians, and this Ed Smith and Jones and the Good Man Goes to War for those, respectively. I think the Ood were number 8, and that was Planted the Ood. 6 was the Silence. 5 was the Cybermen, and they aired The Next Doctor. 4 was the Silence from the Impossible Astronaut Day of the Moon. 3 was the Master, and they showed Utopia. 2 was Blink for the Weeping Angels, and number 1 was Dalek for the Daleks. I can't remember 7 or 6. They were all new series monsters, or monsters for the new series. Maybe it was the Clockwork Robots. Number 7. It was definitely single part episodes for 7 and 6. If you guys can remember, please let me know down in the comments below. I can just about remember. I can remember 8 of them. I can't remember the last 2. I'm leaning towards the Clockwork Robots for one of them. They definitely did not show any episodes from Series 5. And it was only Series 2, 3, 4, 6, and 7. There you go, Series 7. So they had an episode from Series 7. Oh, the Ice War. The Ice Warriors were number 7. And they showed Cold War. I'm not sure what number 6 was. They definitely aired a Series 2, 3, 4, or 6 episode for whatever that one was. Might have been the Clockwork Robots, in which case that would be series, that would be the Gun in the Fireplace, but I'm not entirely certain. Is this really sure? No, Vashtinara. No, it wasn't the Vashtinara. It wasn't the Sontarans either. I think number 6 was the Clockwork Robots, but I'm not entirely sure about that. If that was the case, then the girl who waited, if that was the case, the Gun in the Fireplace was aired. I'm not entirely sure. The only Series 1 story aired was Dalek, and no Series 5 episode was aired. It was only Series 2, 3, 4, 6, and 7, plus, well, 1 Series 7 episode, plus 1 episode from Series 6. Plus 1 episode from Series 1. Yeah, plus 1 episode from Series 1. And BBC 4 showed repeats of Graham Norton hosted his Saturday Live, and another BBC Radio and Graham Norton's and BBC Radio 4 Extra, which is most notable for being which is the but specific 50th anniversary related ones, both including a additional documentary included on these stories, and before it resolved. Big Finish usually do a yearly trilogy as well. Other times it's across a crew of Doctors. In this case, they had the 1963 trilogy. This year they had the 1963 trilogy released. This year they had Fanfare. The first one was really, and then finally 1967. And then finally, 1963, The Assassination Games, which featured the 7th Doctor, was released in November. Which saw Doctors 1 through to 8, specifically which saw the 4th through 8th Doctors, as well as appearances from the first 3, taking on an event which saw the 4th through to 8th Doctors, as well as appearances of the first 3 Doctors, which saw Tom Baker, Peter Davison, Colin Baker, and Sylvester McCoy play, which saw the 4th through to 8th Doctors investigating also, other comics were also released throughout the year. Okay, so this particular after party, so the Doctor talk with the people however, the presenters, personally, I do think an after party thing would be although I'm sure Sherry Zoribor and Rick Edmonds, but I think possibly showing respect both. And comedic antics ensue. As well as 2013 also saw the War Doctors televised era and the second episode. It also, what's certain is 2013 was What's certain is 2013 was a big year for Doctor Who fans and for Doctor Who as a. What's certain is that 2013 was a big year. What's certain is Doctor Who. Sorry. What's certain is 2013 was a massive year for Doctor Who and for the fans. What's certain is 2013 was a massive year for the show and a great and exciting. And it's not really a very, but at least, but even with only half a series, we still got lots of special programming around the big 50th anniversary release. But even then, we still got lots of big programming. So, 2013, this was a big. So, 2013 was in fact, so in conclusion, 2000, as it was possibly at its, as it was. And I shall see you guys next time, where I will be taking a look at the 50th anniversary special itself in a bit more detail. Have a great day. I'll see you guys for that. Great. In the meantime, have a great time. In the meantime, have a great day. Enjoy the rest of Matt Smith month, and I'll see you guys. In the meantime, enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy the rest of Matt Smith month. Goodbye. So until then, thank you for watching. Goodbye, enjoy the rest of your day, and in fact, the rest. So until then, thank you for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day, the rest of Matt Smith month, and I'll see you guys. In the meantime, enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy the rest of Matt Smith. Until then, thank you for watching. Enjoy the rest of Matt Smith month, and in fact, shit. Oh, this is going to be hell to edit. Don't forget to click below to subscribe to the Whoniversals YouTube channel. Don't forget to click below to subscribe to the Nicholas Payne bonus content YouTube channel.